Simba NYC TV.
And we are back together again. My name is Shelda Smith of Shelda Entertainment, and you have tuned into the second series and the second episode of Simba NYC TV from out of Brooklyn, New York. Yay, Brooklyn. It is winter. I know they say it's fall, but you know, I don't do well in the cold. Anyone who knows me knows that. Can't wait for the summer. There has been a recent headline in the Washington Street Journal, and you know, this has personally affected me. And I want to share this with you. In Mobile, Alabama, a black woman by the name of Chastity Jones, she applied for a job to a company called the Catastrophe Management Solutions. She was initially hired, but the job came with one condition, and that condition was to cut her locks. Well, the job offer was taken away because she did refuse to do so. The job stated that she did not comply with the regulations. They felt that her hair would never be kept properly groomed, that it would be messy at times. She called on the EEOC, which is the Employment Opportunity Commission, and the attorneys on behalf of her took the case to court, and the case was lost. Now the court ruled stating that employers can ban dreadlocks at work. My concern is today dreadlocks, tomorrow braids, the next day afros. What that message is stating, the ruling, what it's saying is that they will soon be able to discriminate against any traditional black hairstyle. You know, you're telling me that my natural hair, unless it's done according to what's considered by them appropriate or nice or smooth or neat, that I'm unable to wear my hair in such a manner? Well, I have dreads, as you can see. And I want to give you a little history about dreadlocks. When you see dreadlocks, most people think of Bob Marley, you think of reggae music, you think of Rastafarianism, you think of everything else. But you're unaware of the roots of dreadlocks. Dreadlocks, it's not new. Locked hair, and I want you to hear this, has been a symbol of a highly spiritual person. And it dates back from Christianity to Hinduism. The first known example dates back to ancient Egypt, where the pharaohs, they had their hair in dreadlocks, and there's proof of that. The mummies that they've extracted have actually had locked hair. And in the 1930s, in Jamaica, that's when Rastafarianism evolved, and that was developed following the coronation of Haile Selassie, the king of Ethiopia. The followers called themselves Rastafarians, and they wore dreadlocks. And these dreadlocks, it was seen as in response to the social, political climate then. It was a social consciousness, it was an awakening. And Bob Marley, through his music and through him being the celebrity that he was, he brought it out of Jamaica and brought it into the mainstream, and it became worldwide. I even read an interesting article that in 1985, when Whoopi Goldberg first started wearing her locks, it became acceptable in the United States for dreadlocks to be so highly accepted. Can you imagine Whoopi Goldberg? Yeah, Whoopi. So today, you know, the locks are worn for different reasons. There are some people who wear it as a fashion statement, some for religious, spiritual convictions, some wear it for ethnic pride. But for whatever reason that you wear your hair, I just feel that you have the right to wear your hair. And I think that's the message that I'm trying to say today. The court has no right at all to discriminate against black hair in the workplace. Now, today I just want to talk today about a special artist. I'm sorry, not a special artist, a special guest. I'm so used to having musical artists here, but this is a very special guest. And his name is Dr. Stephen Allsop. And he is a black scientist. Now, what I want to do before he even comes out here, because I think it's special, the message that he's sending just by being here, that you can believe and you can achieve. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a break. I'm going to play that song and the video, I should say, by Mr. Lee G. Believe and you can achieve. And when we come back, you're going to meet my special guest, Dr. Stephen Allsop. And we'll be right back.
Baby, don't you see what I see? Believe you me, you can choose your destiny, yeah. Man, I struggle every day from him was a baby. Don't you see what I see? Inna the ghetto, inna the slums, and that's all we got home. Don't have any money, dependent coupon to feed the little one. Oh, what a damn. No pan, pop, and bottom, and empty bottle in a hand, no water. Frustrating situation. To Jackie get pregnant, she never choose abortion. Food basket empty, baby daddy cannot be found. Black woman, you keep holding on and on. Believe you me, you can be what you wanna be. Man, I struggle every day from him was a baby. Don't you see what I see? Believe you me, you can choose your destiny, yeah. Man, I struggle every day from him was a baby. Don't you see what I see? Every other day in my neighborhood feel like an episode of a boys in the hood who scheming, who cheating, petty rivalry. That I want, make me tell you, down in my community. What is the remedy? Give me the sense in many a day. Burn out on corruption and mental slavery. Giving praises to Father God Almighty, cause he holds the key to every man's destiny. Believe you me, you can be what you wanna be. Man, I struggle every day from him was a baby. Don't you see what I see? Believe you me, you can choose your destiny, yeah. Man, I struggle every day from him was a baby. Don't you see what I see? Yes, get a youth, you're full of ambition. Don't let no one try to hold you down. Maintain focus, keep your meditation. To stay on course, you need an education. Every genesis, it has a revelation. A man to a woman and a woman to a man. It takes a male and female for reproduction. This is how it's been done since creation. Believe you me, you can be what you wanna be. Man, I struggle every day from him was a baby. Don't you see what I see? Believe you me, you can choose your destiny, yeah. Man, I struggle every day from him was a baby. Don't you see what I see? Inna the ghetto, inna the slums, and that's all we got home. Don't have any money, dependent coupon to feed the little one. Oh, what a damn. No papa, papa, damn, and empty bottle in a hand of water. Frustrating situation. To Jackie get pregnant, she never choose abortion. Food basket is empty, baby daddy cannot be found. Black woman, you keep holding on and on. Believe you me,
And we're back. I'm so excited to have Dr. Stephen Allsop sitting next to me. You know, when I was introduced to him, I was told, meet Dr. Allsop, he's a scientist. And I said, a scientist? I mean, in my travels, I've met singers, I've met basketball players, but I'll be honest, I've never met a scientist, a black scientist. And I dare you to tell me that you have. So I want to introduce my Simba NYC TV viewers to Dr. Stephen Allsop. Welcome.
Thank you, thank you. You know, as Shelda said, my name is Stephen, and I currently work as a researcher at MIT. A little bit of how I got to that place very quickly. My parents are from Trinidad, so I grew up there, but I was born in Brooklyn actually. Spent some time in the Caribbean, moved up here. And one of the things they always sort of instilled in me was the value of education, not necessarily, you know, as an end, but as a means to an end. And so I always embraced that and was always encouraged. Mm-hmm. I remember from a very young age, like I would do my homework and my dad would like check everything, make me do things over, make sure I was writing neat. So I always had this sort of rigorous upbringing when it came to the importance of academics. That being said, you know, I was able to do well in high school and went to a historically black college and university, North Carolina Central University, for college, and majored in biology, minored in jazz studies, and from there I decided that I wanted to pursue a dual degree, an MD and a PhD. So going to medical school and also grad school, was, you know, blessed enough to be able to enroll at the Harvard-MIT combined program. And this past May, you know, I finished my PhD part of that program at MIT, and in the next year and a half we'll finish, 2 years we'll finish my MD at Harvard. And so that's sort of, you know, what I'm doing right now. That's
a beautiful thing. I am so impressed, I'm humbled, I'm proud. Very nice.
Thank you.
Now I want to read something to you.
Yeah.
Mae Jemison, excuse me, is the first black woman astronaut, mm-hmm. and she states that there's a problem that begins for children of mm-hmm. all backgrounds, yeah. where school emphasizes really just studying, memorizing facts, yeah. but does not provide you with an arena to explore, to yeah. experiment.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering for you, how did you nourish your need to experiment yeah. or to explore things?
Yeah. So I have this saying, I write about it in, like, you know, my applications when I was applying to medical school and stuff, which is that I was born a scientist. And what I mean by that is, and in a sense we all are. If you look at children, young children, I have a daughter, I'm married, I have 2 children. My daughter, she's now 2. And if you look at a 2-year-old, even younger, and how they behave, how they interact with the world, they're always very inquisitive about wanting to know how things work. Mm-hmm. What are things they touch, they feel, they experiment. Mm-hmm. You know, and then it's not necessarily in a formal sense or in an academic sense, but we all have this desire to want to understand the world. Mm-hmm. And that's really all that science is. Science is just sort of a very sort of rigorous way of learning about and understanding how the world works. So I think we all have that in us. And, you know, as we progress through adulthood and the education system, you know, I think for some people that sort of goes away. Mm-hmm. But I think we all have that ability, and how you want to apply it, I think, you know, can be different. Mm-hmm. And so for me, you know, I always had this interest in the natural sciences. So, you know, animals and how do animals behave? Why does this animal know it's supposed to chase this animal? Like looking at National Geographic and things like that. And again, my parents, my family, everyone would just sort of encourage me to ask these types of questions. Yes. I remember at some point I started asking my parents so many questions that they just bought me an encyclopedia. They're just like, just read this. This has like the answers. You're asking us questions that we don't know the answer to. And so, you know, I just always really loved asking questions and trying to understand how things work. And, you know, I found my passion in trying to understand how the brain works. But the general idea of asking questions is something that, you know, I've always had with me.
But since we were on that train, so to speak, do you feel like the educational system, that it supports, that it encourages, especially minority students?
So, I mean, the problem with the education system is very complex. I think most people would agree that the public school education system, in a large part, doesn't actually provide a subset of people in this country with an adequate education, not only to be competitive in STEM fields, but sort of just in general about how to think about various things, how to be a productive a citizen. But one's educational experience in this country is very tied to one's socioeconomic status, and most times that also correlates with one's race. And so I think when you ask whether or not the education system is preparing children to do that, I think it's important to ask what component of the population are you talking about? Because I think for some people, they are in the types of schools that do foster sort of a love for things that are STEM, and sort of give and importantly have the resources to allow them to do things like dissections and certain experiments, and the quality of teachers that can inspire that sort of love. Whereas in other populations, specifically populations that include people of color or low socioeconomic status individuals, they're not getting access to schools with that quality of education that will really prepare them to be competitive, and that starts very, very early. And so I think there certainly is a problem in sort of the way that education is funded and who has access to what types of educational opportunities, and it plays a very dramatic role in the types of careers people think that they're going to be able to do, and what sorts of opportunities will be available to them to do those things.
In terms of math and science, I remember my math and science school days.
Yeah. And
there were some who got it and some who didn't.
Yeah.
And if you didn't get it, it was downhill from there. So how do you feel that the system can generate more of an interest in math and science?
That's a really tough question, and there are a lot of people, I think, probably in education policy that are trying to understand that. I guess my take on it, I think, would be to sort of show what the utility of math and science is. I think a lot of times kids, again, depending on who they have around them, who their role models are, what type of information are they exposed to, they may not necessarily get the types of role that that science and math play. For instance, you're using an iPad. The people who created that were scientists. They were engineers. They're people with backgrounds in STEM that are able to develop this. So someone can have an idea. We should have something called an iPad, but without someone who's had the scientific training to say, how do we take this vision into something that we can use today? None of that happens. How we're recording this, all of the things that we use have sort of come about through the scientific process and through people who've had backgrounds in STEM fields. Those are the people that are able to create these sorts of technological advancements that we all benefit from today. I think when children begin to see that this is not just some sort of out there like nerdy weird thing, but these are things that I can come up with really cool things that I can make, I think it generates sort of more interest when they have access to those types of ideas, those types of opportunities, and importantly people who do those things that can explain to them what it is that they do, and they can see sort of the type of lifestyle they have and things like that.
I want to talk about the number of black scientists that are in the field. Have you encountered a good number of black scientists?
Yeah, so I think across the STEM fields there's certainly a dearth of representation of people of color, and we've already talked about I think some of the reasons why that is in terms of how the education system is set up, and how that influences the types of opportunities kids think that they're going to have access to or actually have access to. But there are a lot of programs that are being placed sort of in the pipeline that are starting to help that number to grow. There are a lot of graduate programs and college programs that are sort of trying to identify people that might have a future in STEM fields and pushing them into that. But there are a lot of barriers that are influenced by policies, that are influenced by people's social biases, and there are a number of people, myself included, that are trying to work on that element so that when children decide that they do want to become scientists, that the pathway for them is a lot clearer, and that they don't have to deal with some of these institutional or social barriers to have access to that.
So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk some more with Dr. Allsop. Stay tuned. For those of you who are now joining us, I'm sitting here with Dr. Stephen Allsop, and he is a scientist. And we've been talking earlier about some of the obstacles, especially in the Black community, about pursuing the field of science and math. Dr. Allsop, I want to talk about you and your obstacles. What kept you going?
Man, I think I've been extremely fortunate in that I've always had a community of people that saw something in me and were willing to invest time, energy, to ensure that I was able to achieve the things that they envisioned that I could achieve and the things that I dreamed of achieving. You know, starting with my parents, obviously, my sisters, then my extended family, my cousins, my aunts, uncles, and then sort of more lately, my wife, classmates. But I've always just had a community of people around me, and people that could point me in certain opportunities. A good example of that, for instance, is, as I mentioned, I went to HBCU, North Carolina Central University, and while there, you know, through serendipity, through blessing, I was able to be introduced to a young professor at the time there, Dr. Antonio Baines. And he sort of just took me under his wing as a mentee. And he was like, okay, you know what? Like, are you really interested in science? Here's what you need to do. You need to come start working in my lab, blah, blah. I started working in his lab doing cancer research. He's like, okay, stay for the summer, work in my lab some more. I stayed in the summer, I worked. He's like, you know what? Next summer, you need to go somewhere else. Go to another school and show people what you can do outside of sort of, the HBCU bubble. And so I've always had people like that. And I think the reason why I am where I am is because I was fortunate enough to have people that were able to help steer me, to have a community. I think the problem, outside of sort of all the institutional things that we talked about in terms of education and things like that, is that everyone doesn't have access to that type of community all the time. And I think for some people, it's sort of built into their social network. Yes. Especially, in certain communities, higher socioeconomic status communities, sort of built into their social network are a lot of safety nets and a lot of opportunity that will be laid in front of them. If you're coming from another background, so similar to the background that I have, it's not as obvious, and the path is not as clear. And if you aren't fortunate to have the type of parents or to have the type of community that will really ensure that you're in the position to succeed, it becomes very easy to fail. And so I think for me, that's been the biggest thing that has allowed me to get to where I am today, is just always having that community.
And speaking of supportive community, we as a community, we celebrate athletes, we celebrate singers, we celebrate all the arts. But we very rarely celebrate a scientist. And I think in terms of that, it doesn't allow children to see scientists as a model, something they would like to model themselves after.
Yeah, and I think that is a problem. I think even larger with just sort of the type of society that we live in and what we place values on, right? It's a society very sort of driven by capitalist motives, driven by how much money can you make, right? And so if you look at sort of the things that are celebrated and the types of people that are celebrated, they're people who make a lot of money. You don't necessarily go into something like science because you want to make a lot of money. Something like medicine, you don't necessarily go into because you want to make a lot of money, because if you are intelligent enough to be a scientist or to be a doctor, there are a lot of other ways in which you can make more money a lot faster. And so I think part of that is that we teach our children that money is the thing that should drive what it is you do. And so they look and they see, what are the things that I can do to make money? All the people that look like them, that are making the type of money that they want to make, at least the people that they're exposed to do a certain type of thing. And it's not science, it's not necessarily investment banking or venture capitalism or entrepreneurship. And so they don't think, you know what, I want to make a lot of money, I should think about investment banking, or I should become a consultant. Because those aren't the types of people that they know, have been exposed to, have seen images of, that look like them, that make money. So the only other alternative is, okay, I'm gonna, you know, do some sort of art, whether it be, you know, music, or I'm going to, you know, play sports, or I'm gonna sell drugs, or whatever, you know, the sort of underground economy is in the neighborhood that they live in, right? Because that's what they have access to make money, and that's what we celebrate. And so I think we first have to start with, how do we educate our children about what things are actually valuable, what things are important, and what are the types of things that you should want to sort of dedicate your life to doing, right? And money might not necessarily be the most important thing. And so I think for me, and sort of how I try to raise my children, and sort of my own philosophy, is that I don't do things for money. Money is great, and if it comes along with it, that's fine, but my motivation for pursuing something is because I'm passionate about it. I think it's important. I think it can be meaningful to people.
What advice would you give to somebody who's interested in following in your footsteps?
I mean, I think there are always a lot of things, I think, that go into making someone successful. I think first thing for me is having a vision or perspective. Sort of the reality that you experience is largely created by your perspective. The things that you focus on, the things that you concentrate on, the things that you have as a vision for yourself are the things that your behaviors will unconsciously support. And so if you see yourself, you know, wanting to be a certain type of thing, envision yourself that way, you know, and you start to behave that way, you start to act that way, and you start to see opportunities to cause that thing to happen. You know, I think once you have that vision, and if that's a vision that's placed in your heart, hold on to it, and things will, if you want to achieve something great, if you want to be successful, at some point it's going to be hard. You know, it's not supposed to be easy to do something great, and if that's what you want to do, then when things get hard, that should be even more motivation that, okay, I'm getting somewhere now. When it starts getting hard, that means you're getting somewhere, right? And that's when you work even harder, you know? And then surround yourself with people that will support you, support you in that vision. And lastly, always follow your passion, you know? I think all the things that I'm talking about only work well when someone is doing the thing that they're passionate about. You know, when you're passionate about what you're doing, it makes it so much easier to work hard at it. You know, and a lot of people, again, you know, for various reasons, aren't doing things that they're passionate about. And, you know, myself and my family, you know, we try to stay committed to that idea of let's only do the things that are going to bring us happiness, the things that we're passionate about, the things that we think are going to make a difference. I think if that's your vision, if you're focused on that, it's possible to do a number of different things. Science is one of them, but whatever it is that you are doing, you're going to be happy, you're going to be satisfied, and you're going to be making a difference, and you have the potential to do something great with it.
I'm looking at you and I'm just like amazed. Is it okay if I tell your age?
I mean, yeah, my age is
Dr. Allsop, Dr. Stephen Allsop is 27 years old.
Yeah. Almost 28.
Almost 28. Wow. You know, your work, it sounds huge. It sounds exhausting. Tell me, what do you do so that you don't burn out? What is your other passion?
Yeah. So yeah, I do have other passions. Science is something that, you know, I love it too much to burn out doing it, you know?
Okay.
But I do have other passions. Music is a huge passion of mine. Like I said, I minored in jazz studies. My dad's a multi-instrumentalist, so I grew up around music. You know, my mom can sing, my sisters, we all sing. And so, you know, I've always been around music. And so, you know, now I play largely gospel, jazz, so I'm in the New England area. And,
you play an instrument?
Yeah, so I play primarily keyboard, you know, piano, and I sing, and, you know, I can mess around on the drums and bass guitar as well. But you know, my wife and I have you know, started, like, my wife is a serial entrepreneur. We started a company, and part of that company is, you know, providing live entertainment for various events and sort of, using live music as a way of facilitating the type of culture and the type of ambiance that you want at an event. And you know, it's called Note the Nuance Live, and so we do a bunch of events in the New England area, and I have a lot of fun. It's one of the, I had a friend say, you know, I never see you smile the way that you smile, or that joy when you're playing music. And then the other thing I love to do is travel.
Yes. So when you're not in the lab, you're traveling.
When I'm not in the lab, I'm either playing the piano or hanging out with my friends and family, or I'm out of the country or out of the state. Yeah.
You found a nice little balance, and I think that's important, you know, to balance not only the career, but also the social side of it. You know, some people don't often get to have that type of a balance, and I like that.
Yeah.
You are wise beyond your years.
I've grown with and grown up around many wise people, and they've definitely poured into me, and I've grabbed as much of it as I could, you know, and try to apply it. Not always perfectly, but.
Are you going to hang out with us a little bit? Because our next segment is book talk, and I think I may want to ask you about a good book.
Okay.
So hang out with us a bit. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
You want to hide something from a Negro, put it in a book.
And we're back. I just want to say thank you so much to Dr. Allsop for hanging out with me, taking a little bit of his time. Welcome to Book Talk. Now you know the phrase, if you want to hide something from a Negro, you put it in a book. And Simba NYC TV, we are committed to promoting reading. And I just want to sort of go inside Dr. Allsop's head and ask him about what, I'm gonna narrow it down to 2 books.
Yeah.
What 2 books that you have read, and I'm sure you've read a lot of books, do you think might be an essential book? Something that someone could certainly
yeah. It's tough. I can't limit it to 2 books.
Oh,
there's just too.
Well, you know what?
Because
whatever number you want to give me.
So I do. You're right in that I do read, but I have to confess, I'm not good at finishing books. So I start a lot of books and get to like 50%, 75% of the way through, and then I just get I get distracted by another new book and I start that. But there are a number of books, I think, especially for young black men and women, that, you know, they should read. I'll start with the autobiography of Malcolm X. You know, my dad gave me that book. I was pretty young, like maybe 12 or 13 or something like that. You know, and I burned through that book, and it was just a book that really inspired me and meant a lot to me. And you know, Malcolm X is certainly one of my heroes. Brilliant thinker. I would say Miseducation of the Negro. Another, like, just those types of books. Souls of Black Folk, W. Du Bois. Up from Slavery. Sort of, and those are sort of just foundational books that, you know, from some of our greatest thinkers of that period of time. I would say the Bible, and the reason I say that is that, you know, whether you're a Christian or Islam or atheist, the Bible has been so influential in shaping sort of the philosophy and the culture of many in Western civilization, that I feel like to understand the Bible gives you a lens into understanding the way that a lot of people think, whether or not you subscribe to it or not. I would say something similar, you know, about the Quran, if you know, even if you can read it in sort of its English translation. And then one more book that I would recommend for anyone in today's society that's trying to understand sort of where we find ourselves is The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander. Again, brilliant, amazing book, and it really sort of puts things into a perspective where, as a young black man or woman, you can begin to understand how these systems work against you and maybe protect yourself against that. And as someone who's not a young black man or woman, you can understand how those systems work and how you see them manifested sort of in different communities and cultures.
My goodness, he has given, I mean, so many great books. These are such great books. I encourage you to read those books. You know, in this time, reading is the key. Thank you so much for joining us in Book Talk, and we'll see you again next week, and we'll have another great selection of books for you. Thank you so much.
You wanna hide something from a Negro? Put it in a book.
Prevention is better than a cure. Health Corner.
And we're back. While we were on the break, I was able to convince Dr. Allsop to stay and hang out with me in Wellness Corner. Welcome to the Wellness Corner. I just want for you to give us a quick tip.
Yeah, so I think two things that are relatively simple to do, but it's just hard to stay consistent sometimes. First is drinking water. Drinking the amount of water that you're recommended to drink. Most people don't, and there are a lot of different ways that can manifest. My dad's a naturopathic physician, so I picked up a lot of things from him, and there are a lot of different ways that just dehydration, not having enough water, can manifest. So drinking the amount of water you're supposed to drink daily is one really easy thing that physically can help you feel a lot better. And the second thing, sort of from a mental standpoint, that I try to do is spend 5 minutes a day doing something that you love. Just make 5 minutes a day and make sure that you spend that time, it's protected time, and you're doing something that you love, whatever that might be.
And that's the tip for Wellness Corner. Water and doing something that you love. Thank you, and see you next week.
Prevention is better than a cure. Health Corner.
Who is it?
It's me, Darlene.
Hi. Oh, God. Oh, gosh. Come on, quick.
I'll put us inside the kitchen. Yeah, girl. I bring something for you. I bring a roti and a red solo. I know that is your favorite. Outside you feeling cool. With the knife. Half for you and half for me. So babes, you ready to eat over?
No, I'm hungry. Come now. Oh, wow. I'm glad to see you. I'm glad to see you. Oh, I miss you.
I miss you too, baby. Don't know it go already. So, well, I know you probably waited to hear what it is I want to talk to you about.
Whole evening I'm waiting. What?
Well, before I tell you what it is I want to tell you, let me tell you this much. Well, first, I have to say, you know, since me and you meet, I've had a smile on my face every day, you know. You bring a smile to my face, you know. With all that I'm going through, I have to let you know, I've been really, really happy with these couple of weeks that we've been together, you know. And I feel like I want to make some kind of a commitment to this relationship. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know you tell me that on the phone, but...
Well, when I say that, it's like, I've been with other girls before. I had relationships before. Some long, some short. But never this kind of connection. This connection with me and you have. I just feel like, you know, I know you for years. I don't know if me and you might have been together in another existence.
I like
or something, you know. I don't know if we were probably in another lifetime, you know, lovers or friends or husband and wife or whatever, I don't know. But this feels real to me, you know what I mean? This feels like something, you know, that's meant to be, to me, you know.
Well, Gabby, it's only been 3 weeks. And you know, listen, I was telling my friend Petal, you don't know Petal, and
Petal?
she was on the boat ride.
She was there?
She was there.
When your friend and them was in a little crew there?
Yeah, she was on the boat ride.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I was telling Petal, and I was telling my cousin Charmaine about you and I. And they said 3 weeks is a short time.
A short time?
Yeah,
Wait a
Gabby.
minute, listen to me. Here, what did I tell you? How does you just feel when we together?
I mean, I just feel good.
Alright, hold on. Who it is you living for? You or your friend and your cousin?
Well, I'm
Or your
living,
family?
well, of course, I'm living for me.
Well, right.
But Gabby, this is what they... It's 3 weeks.
Yeah. And I feel like it's a lifetime. Tell me you don't feel like it's a lifetime.
Yes.
Right.
Gabby, we just get along good. We just
That's
have a
it.
good time. We just do things together. We talk all night long. You know, and I feel good.
How you mean? Is that
I feel happy.
me
Gabby, you
too?
just make me happy.
But what about me? Look at that, I tell you, I smiling since me and you meet, girl. I smiling, I just be looking forward to coming and checking you when the night come. Yeah. What you mean? Is that feeling, that mutual, it's a mutual feeling between me and you. And I figure that we should just build on that because we have to live for we, you know. Nobody can experience what it is we feeling when we together. You understand? Them on the outside is me and you on the inside, and we know how we make each other feel. Your verse. That is why I show you here now. I'm willing to take the relationship, like I tell you on the phone, to the next level. You know? A woman like you, the sky is the limit for me. If I have you in my corner, a woman like you in my corner, you understand? It will have nothing we can accomplish together. You understand what I say?
Gabby, you think we should know more about each other?
Wait is good. Wait is to know again. Wait is to know again.
I mean, it's always, it's 3 weeks. I know I keep saying that, but Gabby, you don't want...
But it don't feel like a lifetime.
It feels good.
It don't feel like a lifetime. It don't feel like you know me.
I feel like I know you.
Like sometimes when you say certain things, it's the same thing I was about to say.
Yeah, that
You
is
understand? That has happened to me like
happened. Yeah.
you.
You see, it just
Yeah.
yeah, that has happened.
You see what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
So babes, I just have one question to ask you.
What?
Mom, you have somebody out there that you care about or
No,
something?
no, you don't. No. Since it's just been me and you, I don't lie. I don't feel. I feel the connection.
Yeah.
You know. If a day go by and I don't hear from you, you know.
I just feel like something missing.
Yeah.
I just feel like it have a void
Yeah.
inside of me.
I know.
When me hear you. So I started calling. So I just call in morning,
Yes.
lunchtime, and even when I'm going home, it's because it's that That comfort I just feel when I hear sweetness in your voice now.
I ain't gonna lie, I had other boyfriends, but nobody ever was so loving and warm and considerate, and God, you make me feel special.
It is special, baby, you know that.
I feel special when I'm with you.
Well, here it is going. I want to make you feel special for the rest of your life, you know.
Oh, I like that.
Here it is going.
Oh God, no.
Deborah,
No. Gabby, that's
would
so
you Deborah, would you be my wife?
Yes.
You sure?
Yes. Ah, yes. Of course. Yes. Oh God. Oh my God. Wait. I'm getting married. Alright. Okay.
See?
Oh God. Oh God. So wait. It's a serious thing, right?
What do you mean? This is a serious thing, girl.
Now we are shaking. Shaking.
Because it look nice, it look on you. And it's fitting right too.
How you know my size?
I'm telling you, girl, I just went and just look at it and say I know that it's for you.
Gabby,
Go it fit.
this is all diamond?
What do you mean?
Oh my God. I love it. Gabby, I'll call my mother.
Well,
I'll call Petal. I'll call Shami. They didn't think this was gonna happen.
see, I tell you.
I'll call some people. I'll get my phone. My God. Gabby, I'm getting married.
Yeah.
We're getting married.
Yeah, you mean.
Oh my God. Wait. Gabby, I have to call my mother. I must call my mother. I want you to talk to my mother too.
Huh? You want me to talk to she?
Yes.
No?
Yes.
You sure?
Yes.
Alright.
Let me go and get my phone. Come, let me go. You have to talk to my mother.
I go wait right here, man. You just finish. I go wait here. Right?
Alright, I'm coming back. Hi, Debbie. Hi, baby. Hello, mommy. Mommy, are getting married. What? Deborah, I talked to you last week and you did not tell me anything about a marriage. Mommy, he just proposed tonight. He right here and you're the first person to know. Wait. Deborah, how long have you known this man? Mommy, 3 weeks, but let me tell you. What? Mommy, you just know when it's right. Deborah, where does this man work? Well, Mommy, right now he's doing construction. And he just play pan on the weekend, you know, he used to do a few gigs. And, you know, Deborah, Mommy, he could sing. He gonna be a famous singer. Mommy, he could sing if you hear him sing. Deborah. And Mommy, he nice looking. He have locks and, you know. And everything good. Deborah, is he making you smoke weed? Deborah, you doing drugs? No, I'm not doing no drugs. I'm not smoking no weed. Deborah, he making you drink. No, Mommy, I'm in love. I'm in love with him. Listen, Deborah, is 18 hours. I was in labor with you. Deborah, I could have dead, Deborah. 18 hours of labor. Deborah, how am I going to tell your father father this, and you know your father is a sick man. Deborah, you know how sick he is. You was here last year. Mommy, I love him. I never feel like this before about nobody. Deborah, all these sacrifices we make for you. You don't even know the sacrifices we make for you. Then we send you to America. Deborah, you're a nurse. You don't have no doctor in the hospital you like. So much doctor walking around the hospital. Mommy, it have doctor in the hospital, but every nurse don't have to marry a doctor. Mommy, I love him. Deborah, what about Mr. Rogers' son? Every time he in Trinidad, he just asks for you. If he come here 5 times, he asks for you 5 times. You know, Deborah, that boy going to be an engineer. Now that is her husband. Mommy, I don't like him. I don't like him. He live Delaware somewhere. I don't like him. But mommy, if you meet Garvey, mommy, he's a good man. Deborah, what am I supposed to tell the family? Deborah, they had so much expectations for you. And Deborah, what to tell my neighbors? What to tell, there was, how Deborah doing? How Deborah doing in America? What to tell the neighbors, Deborah? Mommy, you still living for neighbors? I don't care what you tell the neighbors. Mommy, listen, Garvey here, I want you to talk to him. And mommy wants you to get to know him. I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to get to know him. Let him tell that man to leave me alone. Please, talk to him now. I don't want to talk to him. But mommy, how you get to know him? He's gonna be your son-in-law. Deborah, right now my blood pressure is sky high. After this conversation, I'm gonna boil some garlic. I don't want to talk to that man. Talk to your son-in-law. I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna call him. Garvey, my mother wanna talk to you. Garvey, come.
I come in.
Garvey, my mother wanna talk to you.
No?
Yes. My mother. Only be private. Only be private.
Hello, good night, moms.
I have 3 children. 2 sons and 1 daughter. I am not your mother. Call me Mrs. Sterling.
Oh, okay, Miss Sterling. Good night, Miss Sterling.
And what is your name?
My name is Gavin Bishop. That is my name.
What part of Trinidad are you from?
Well, I was born in Lavantil.
Lavantil? Lord, Lavantil.
So, you mind I asking you, where are you from?
I don't know what Deborah's told you about us, but I live in Cascade. My husband is a retired pilot. I am a school teacher. Deborah comes from a very good family.
So, what you're trying to say is that you don't even know who I is, but because I born in Lavantil, I come from Lavantil, I'm not good enough for your daughter? Yes. That what you're saying in other words?
Yes. Yes. I put a lot into my daughter. My daughter graduated from St. Joseph's Convent. My daughter has CXC passes. She have A levels, O levels. Son, you are not what I expected and want for my daughter.
Well, Mom, I am very, very, very sorry that I am not what you expected, but I love your daughter and your daughter love me.
Listen, my daughter does not know what love is. My daughter has been sheltered. I'm guilty of that. My daughter does not know what love is.
I hear you, Miss Sterling.
Have you been to any kind of school?
Yes, I've been to school. Of course, you know, I went to Success RC, you know, primary school. And after that, I went to Serval where I did masonry. I'm also a pan player. I'm a very skillful pan player, and I'm a singer as well as an artist.
I know. Deborah tell me you're going to be famous one day.
Yes, I believe so.
Gabi, you sound like a nice guy. I don't have no problem with you. But I do have a problem with you marrying my daughter. And Gabi, that's not going to happen.
Well, Miss Sterling, all I have to say is that, you know, I love your daughter, and all my intentions is good intentions. You understand? And she loved me too. And the last time I checked, she was a big woman, you know, so I would believe she's going to be able to make her own decisions. You understand?
So Gabi, that's the line you're feeding her, that she's a big woman? Well, Gabi, I make all the decisions. Thank you very much for your ring. It must be lovely. But my daughter will not be marrying you.
Well, Miss Sterling, with all due respect, you know, I don't even think I should be even speaking with you, because you don't even know me and you don't know nothing about me. And just because, you know, you hear where I'm from, you know, you want to, you know, discriminate against me, you know what I'm saying. But all I can tell you is this: I love your daughter, and your daughter loves me.
Gabi, right now my husband is sleeping. I can't even tell my husband about this conversation. Gabi, what is it that you want with my daughter? What do you want?
I love she, Miss Sterling, and she loves me. And we're going to get married. You understand? And I hope to see you there.
Gabi, my daughter might be in love, but I'm not. And that's one wedding, my husband and my sons will not be attending. Gabi, good night.
Deborah, like your mother hang up on me, girl. I have to get straight now. I have to get straight, better sooner than late. I have to get straight now. I have to get straight now. I have to get straight. I have to get straight. It is too long to play, better sooner than late. I have to get straight now.
Dr. Allsop is still in the house. I've been working him so hard today. He stayed during book talk and wellness corner. But before he leaves, let me tell you, my ears perked up when he said music. Because you know Simba NYC TV loves to promote new, upcoming artist. Can I say that? A new upcoming artist.
Yeah.
So what I want to do is, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'd love to take a look at some of your music.
Sure, yeah, let's do that.
So what we're going to do is, we're going to take a look at the music, and we'll be right back. Yes.
It's been so cool, it's way so mental life. When she passes, each one she passes goes on. Beautiful night, we're looking for something dumb to do. Hey baby, I think I wanna marry you.
I surround myself with good musicians.
And your band, I mean, you were jamming.
No, it's fun. Like I enjoy it. I love it. And so, you know, in this December, actually, I'm going to be recording, you know, my first project of, you know, completely original music.
Well, we have to have the exclusive. You are recording your first...
Yeah, it's going to be my first project. You know, it's something that's sort of been a bucket list item, you know, for a long time, that I have, like, original music that I wanted to, you know, get a group of people that, you know, I vibe with, that I trust, that are excellent musicians, and just go in the studio, you know, for a few days and have fun and record, you know, the music that I love and music that I've created, and then, you know, see what happens from there. So that's slated to happen in December.
Now that's the great thing about Simba NYC TV. See why you have to tune in? You just never know. He came in as a scientist. He's leaving out this amazing musician. Who knew? That's why you have to stay tuned. Now, I thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, for having me.
You were so genuine, so humble. I mean, thank you so much for coming here. And I hope that a lot of young people were encouraged. Look at him. For lack of a thing, he looks like you.
I am them.
I like that. I like that. So I want to encourage you to explore the science in you. It's in you. To explore the music in you. All of that is in you. You are rich in all these. It's in you. You have to come back again. And you have to come back and just jam. We're not even going to talk about neurons or anything. We're just going to talk about music.
I'd be happy to do that.
Thank you so much. See you next week. And Jah is love, it's life, and it's all we need. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye.
Simba NYC TV.